We should be looking at Jachi Quayson. He's been talking, okay? And then there's a story on the Citi newsroom put together by Letitia Osei, and it says, I'm convinced government is involved in court processes against me. Let me read the details of the story. The Member of Parliament for Assin North constituency, James Jachi Quayson, has accused the Akufo-Addo government of interfering in his daily trial. During the campaign period for the Assin North by-elections, the then candidate, James Jachi Quayson, was ordered to face a daily trial. He had been commuting from his constituency to the court on a weekly basis until the trial was moved to a daily basis. The Attorney General, Godfrey Adami, argued that given the charges against Quayson, he could be convicted and jailed if found guilty, hence the need for an expeditious trial. In a letter, James Jachi Quayson formally requested that the General Legal Counsel initiate disciplinary measures against the Attorney General. Quayson's request stems from allegations of professional misconduct leveled against Dame in the context of his ongoing criminal trial in the High Court. Now, during an interview with Umaru Sanda Amadu on Face-to-Face on Citi TV, the legislator stated, and I quote, "The daily trial began during the 2023 campaign. I interpreted it as an attempt to prevent me from campaigning and winning the seat. That was the best they could do. I never believed that the government could be involved in the judiciary, but now I am convinced," unquote. Another quote, "An AG can just walk into court and request that a file be moved. Before it was mostly every 2 weeks, but suddenly they say I have to come every day. In fact, I was on the campaign trail. I went from my constituency to court from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. and then I was back in my constituency by 4 p.m. to campaign until about 11 p.m. unquote. He admitted that the daily trial put some pressure on me, but it did not affect his chances of winning the seat on him, but did not affect the chances of winning the seat. Quote, "During the elections, the pressure of the daily trial was there, but that daily trial didn't work. I even joked that they could give me a chamber in the court and I would still win the seat. I didn't have to be on the grounds," he asserted. Asked if he was not afraid of ending up in Nsawam prison, he said, quote, "Why should I? I believe in the justice system. The fundamental issue in any judicial matter is whether or not the person intended to commit the crime. Did he plan it? I have not planned anything of that sort," unquote. Now, when you go further to the story, it gives the background to this whole Jachi Quayson story. We'll take a break here. When we come back, I'll be finding out from you, okay? So if you say that you trust in the judicial system of the country, but also in one breath say that the government is interfering, I don't really know what that means. This is Breakfast Daily. We'll be right back. So this is Breakfast Daily, and before we went on the break, we were looking at the James Jachi Quayson case where he says he's not afraid of going to jail because he believes in the justice system. But in the same report, he also says that he feels the government is interfering, and I'm surprised that he doesn't believe in the autonomy of the judicial system.
Thank you, Frema. And I believe Ghanaians haven't forgotten the whole thing about this Quayson issue. I mean, it started from somewhere, but what is fundamental is that according to the laws of this country, by the time you become a member of parliament, you must not own an allegiance to any other country. Jachi Quayson was called by the Electoral Commission of his constituency where he contested. They looked into his letters, his books, by the ECJ in Mensa, allowed him to run for elections. After that, we had someone taking him to court. And even at the High Court in Cape Coast, remember, Ghanaians have not forgotten the kangaroo way he, as the person, was not even called to be a witness in his own case. Even criminals are called as prosecuting witness. He was not called to be a witness. A gentleman who filed and everything. Now, this government, it's so amazing that all the problems you are going through, they say it's COVID. But if an embassy is not able to provide something within its stipulated time because of COVID, this government don't want to accept it. By even November, before he contested, he wasn't a citizen of Canada. And the point is that, Firma, let's put everything aside. This gentleman had gone back again. His constituent has communicated to the government that this is the man we want to lead. Overwhelmingly. Aside all the 200 Ghana Citi they shared and everything, Jachi Quayson still won and came back. Firma, I was very young then when I heard certain hardened criminals, Atayis and co, were they trial daily? First felony degree of whatever, the way that the lawyer, when you committing murder, recently there's a police officer who has committed murder. It's somewhere in Ashanti region. Is it being heard daily, every day? So how can a member of parliament, who is supposed to sit in parliament, work for his constituents that are all part of this country?
But don't we want to just finish with this whole case and move on with our lives?
We want to finish with the case and move on with our lives. Frema, I am asking you that even people that have taken guns and killed people, you think their families don't want early trial to do with their lives? They do. But why are they not being trialed daily? A member of parliament who is supposed to sit in parliament and work, he is not going anywhere. You call him to come to parliament every day, to come to court every day. Yet, look at the number of cases people are praying and waiting that they will get it done over and move on with their lives, as you said. Why are they not being treated that way?
So why is he not addressing his concerns to the judiciary? Why is he dragging government into this?
If you go to court over this, the Cape Coast one, the way the judge gave judgment and what, it was like a drama. It was so dramatic. And we know the hand of the government is in this. Who is the attorney?
How do you know?
Who is the attorney general? He was appointed by the president.
So?
And the way the attorney general behaves in this case, I would wish that he would do that for those who have, very, very serious issues that they are waiting to see the light of day. So honestly, you cannot deny the fact that the government is interested in this case. And the
because it concerns
is not
Parliament.
in favor of the people. It concerns Parliament.
Yeah.
Good. It concerns Parliament. Is he a criminal? This is a civil case. Remember, I will ask and
But if
ask
he has
again.
lied to the state,
You see, Frema, I want Ghanaians to know that the Electoral Commission did due diligence before he allowed Judge Quayson to contest the elections. Has the court called the Electoral Commission to come and witness or as a second, person in the case? You think that Jamaica doesn't know her job? She knew her job. That is why she allowed the gentleman to contest. But because the government has its interest, he did it and he was embarrassed again. And because of ego, they won't let it go. Trying an innocent man. That ego of the government, led by his attorney general. You see, the display in court and all those things, it doesn't augur well for our democracy. From I tell you, this country, we are interdependent. We are talking about the Sahel, and if anyone calls you, catches good. Even among us, why are we doing this to ourselves? Has he killed anybody? What has he put anybody in any harm's way? Why are you so busy? The Attorney General is majoring in minors, while there are major cases that people are waiting to see the light of day. You are majoring in something that is obviously, it doesn't affect anybody. It doesn't put bread and butter on anybody's table. You see, they should concern themselves with major issues, reasons why Ghanaians voted for them. They voted for them because of their promises. Building factories, doing our roads, Accra becoming the cleanest city, the Nima becoming like Villaggio and Trasaco. These are the things that Ghanaians are asking them to do, not go to display in court every day. That's only General, he doesn't have any work to do. The government is not busy.
But this is also work.
The government is not busy. They don't have anything on their hands. It's like putting square,
pegs
in round holes. There's a lot of work to be done, but because they don't know what they're about, they are busying themselves with things that are of no use to the citizens. Frema, I would tell, as a politician, growing up, I have done NDC politics for 19 years of my adult life.
Well done.
Frema, we must be responsible politicians to our people.
Okay. Right, so Loratu, we must be responsible politicians, and why is your government making Judge Quayson feel that there's some kind of interference? Would you agree to that?
Frema, also being irresponsible, everybody needs to be responsible. But you see, when our competitors talk about failed promises, you remember one-time premium? You remember? They promised one-time premium. Remember, they promised to build 200 senior high schools. You know, so also failed promises. They should be the last group of people to be talking about it.
What about James?
10
Ghanaians
colleges
are the
of
best judges.
education, the economy they decided to leave and all that.
1
so
million,
they
one district.
Just leave
The promises
the
aspect.
promises aspect.
And,
And
now
NPP
let's-
have
they are
and let's
worse.
talk about James Quayson. He
Look,
says
NPP have
he's
that.
not afraid to go to jail.
Prema,
But
he
he
won't
still,
even
he,
go to
he
jail.
still
said we
feels
should
that.
be responsible. And
Yeah.
look, we need to be serious. We need to be extremely serious in this country. And I mean, how can you even make such an irresponsible statement as a member of parliament?
That's
Look,
But if she says, let's
for
be responsible,
people,
what is wrong
for
with that?
people who decide to go and represent constituencies in parliament, what does parliament do?
They make laws.
Parliament makes the laws
Yeah.
that guide our country. And they are the ones that have to protect our laws on behalf of all of us. What does the law say about dual citizenship? You renounce if you want to be a member of parliament. When did he make up his mind to contest for parliament? 2016. If this man really had the good intentions for his people
They should ask Jane
to
Mensah.
come and really serve them, when he came to contest in 2016, did he renounce his citizenship? No.
He did
It's
not
a
contest
different
in
case.
2016.
Please, he
2020.
contested
Please, he did
primaries.
not contest
He contested
in 2016.
primaries in-
No, we are talking
he
about
contested
Judicial case
primaries
today.
in
He did.
2016.
Are you an NDC member?
The man himself
he's a
in the
Ghanaian.
interview said he contested primaries in
Was
2016.
he our parliamentary candidate in
He
2016?
contested
but the primaries,
primaries.
was it
What
part
is
of
the
the
process
primary?
of becoming a...
What has the laws got to do with our primaries? We have our internal elections, and we know how to go about. Was he
Now,
our candidate?
NDC is from Afghanistan. They are
Was
not
he
in
our
Ghana.
candidate? You know the point
But
is that
eventually,
No, but
but hold
let
on,
me build my
eventually,
point.
the primaries
Let
are
me
there,
build
and then the
my
national
point.
election is also there.
Let me
But
build
hold
my
on, Margot.
point.
Yes,
Look,
go on.
So go on with the case.
you see, when
2020.
you have good intentions for your people, your actions, your plans.
the judges are the
Let me
Assin
not
North
remind
people.
my family of our laws. I had an uncle, late. He was with the PNC. At a point, he stood for flag bearer in the PNC. Late
Who?
Professor Yakubu Saka.
Okay.
He knew he wanted to serve his people. He never took citizenship.
That is
All
him.
he held on. And this was someone who had to go out of this country on exile. Because you're serving in the previous CPP government. He left. Knew he wanted to come back and serve his people. Never took citizenship.
So everybody
All
should do that.
No, listen. All he held on to was a green card.
Okay.
I have family members who had citizenship. The moment they took, because plans change, someone may not have the intentions to ever come into politics, but plans change. People appeal to you. People see what you are capable of doing. They appeal to you to come down and help. I have
Stick to
family
the law.
members that came down, denounced before even coming to contest primaries.
But as of the
You get
time
it?
he was going to
Let's-
deal with the EC, the process had begun.
Why is
Fema,
Jane
if you let
Mensah
me
in
build
the
my
whole thing?
point.
Yeah.
You see,
Go on.
when a man sits and says
She's doing Jenny by the sea, don't mind
convinced, he's convinced government is involved, that shows the level of responsibility. And the fact that he never had good intentions for his people. You came.
The
What is
judges
the
are the
route?
Assin North people.
What is the route or route, if I may,
Yeah.
of becoming a parliamentary candidate for a party?
Yeah.
Isn't it the primaries? Can you just get up and become a parliamentary candidate for a party? You want to be MP. What do the laws say about being an MP? You can't hold allegiance to another country.
Fema, why is Jane
You were
Mensah?
owing
Calm down.
allegiance to another country. 2016, according to you, 2016, you may even prior to that, you've had conversations in 2011 and all that about coming to help your people. 2016, you come lose primaries, what do? Don't you go and prepare and come back. If you really had intentions of representing your people and serving them, you went back, came back 2020. What excuse did Judge Quayson use to say that he didn't get the certificate of renunciation?
As the electoral
COVID. The same COVID they said we shouldn't use as an excuse. This was someone who took an intention before 2016. You see, we need to be responsible in this
now before
country.
2016.
You get it? Now you come. Where is your renunciation certificate? That's a Citi. Frema, the most recognized ID card in this country is the Ghana card.
Really?
When you go and register, they give you a slip. If I go to the bank and I'm asked for my Ghana card, can I present that slip as my ID? No. Someone may decide to use their discretion, depending on your relationship in the card, but the slip is not the ID card. They said when you're going to the EC, you go with all your documentation. You went to the EC without the renunciation certificate, all in the name of COVID. Fast track.
Really?
You come, you contest, you win. Court declares your election null and
So
void.
the EC did not
we
do
went
its
for
job.
a by-election. You win. You are being charged
So you're accusing James
for perjury and forgery. You are being accused of perjury and forgery. The best thing you can sit when you are being interviewed, that you are convinced that government is involved. How irresponsible.
He has seen
is
it.
that? So if I sit here and I say I'm convinced that Honorable Judge Quayson is guilty, can anybody hold me? But it will be an irresponsible comment to make.
The president made it.
Because when anybody is put before the law courts, they are not guilty until proven
But your president
guilty.
said he's a jail man.
I mean, you are used to misquoting words, but so I don't even pay attention to. But when people decide to go into areas, they should be responsible enough. And you see, for someone who wants to be a lawmaker, the standards are higher. Yeah. You can't be breaking laws you want to set. You can't be breaking laws you want to go and protect. Then what's the point?
But you know, so Margot, let me come to you now. Should we not make the law very straight to the point, okay? And leave this kind of, we are not sure what exactly it's saying. So the EC passed, cleared him,
that was
and
where
then
I
we
was
come back
to.
where the
When
certificate
she was,
and all that.
She was asking,
because it's very difficult to leave things at the discretion of people. You can't outright say that
the EC is a well-bodied.
But the EC is not a constitution.
Frema?
Yes.
If you are not qualified, do you think the EC will allow you to run an elections? I have contested an elections before. In 2016, I contested the internal primaries. I won. I presented my documents. EC allowed me to contest as the NDC candidate for Suhum constituency in 2016. The Electoral Commission has all the powers to make sure or to declare who and who is not eligible to contest.
But the interpretation of the law.
Why is the EC not in court? Have any of you, from I expect you to take this thing up. Because if we really, really want fair trial, if we really, really want justice, there are three parties in this case. Yes, let's say the government's judiciary, EC, then the member of parliament. Where is the Electoral Commission in all this scheme of things? Because it is the EC that was satisfied with him, that allowed him, gave him the mandate to contest.
But the case is still in court.
So. It's in court. So where is the Electoral Commission in all this? Why is Jemensa not part of this whole thing? Is she not competent enough to come and defend her own work? Because the gentleman was allowed to, and you see, when Larry says, as a member of parliament, that is an irresponsible statement. You see, the judges are the Assin North people, and they told you, upon all the monies you gave them, they told you they will take your money, but they won't vote for your candidate. Besides, your candidate was even...
The judges went to contest Judge Quayson. Is that what
you,
you're saying?
Are you not saying
Mago,
that
let's
he's
call a
making an
spade a
irresponsible
spade.
statement?
It's unconscionable for a member of parliament to say the judiciary is not independent.
That went into an election with
it's
your
wrong.
people,
It's
including
irresponsible.
your entire government machinery.
So let's call a spade a spade.
The president went and stood there and even declared him a jail person. That if you vote for him, how can somebody come from jail to come and work? That one is not much of an irresponsible statement. That is the highest by the highest gentleman of this land.
So now let's look at
when a man says I'm not afraid of going to jail. What does that tell you? When you go to court, what are the two options? You are either guilty or not guilty.
Yeah.
When you are not guilty, you walk away.
They should ask the
when you are
president.
guilty, you go. The man himself says he's not afraid of going to jail because so he knows it's an option. If the president goes to go and talk, puts an issue in context, and you for your propaganda, propaganda.
But for a member of parliament, he made an irresponsible statement. The first gentleman of this land, who is claimed to be the lawyer of all standards, went and made such an irresponsible
goes to say the judiciary is not independent, it's unconscionable and irresponsible.
That is why upon all the votes, they voted against you. And you see, that is the beginning of the change that is coming. Ghanaians are tired of this irresponsibility. A president cannot just make such utterances.
But a member of parliament can speak to the integrity of the judiciary.
Get that right.
Freema, the gentleman is telling you that aside all the kangaroo things that are happening in the court, aside all the drama,
NDC,
he still believes that the rule of law must stand.
Talking about kangaroo.
You want to let's take you to your day.
But Judge Quayson said that I am convinced he's entitled to his opinion. So if something is happening,
convinced he's guilty, am I not entitled? But it's irresponsible.
Anyway, so
he's convinced. Convinced on what?
Makes such an irresponsible statement. More especially coming from a president who is a lawyer.
But he's not afraid of going to jail.
That is why we are still wondering where his law school mates are.
Now, on a good note, so this is it with Judge Quayson. He thinks that, or he convinced that there's some kind of government interference, but he's also said that, well, if at the end of the day he is guilty, he's not afraid, you know, to go to jail because he believes in the justice.
Options when you are put before the law court.
Yes.
Guilty or not guilty.